AJS, Association for a More Just Society. Peace and Justice Project. According to the United Nations, Honduras is the world's most violent country, with a homicide rate of 86 per 100,000 people. That's higher than any other country in the world, including war-torn countries like Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, Hondurans don't trust their weak justice system, and when they fall victim of crime, they are not sure how to negotiate the complicated judicial process of reporting the crime, participating in its investigation, and testifying in court. Anna and Julia, residents of a poor Honduran neighborhood where crime is seldom reported, became victims of the violence that surrounded them. Julia and her sister Anna were abandoned by their mother as young girls. Julia, the big sister, took responsibility for raising Anna, but never imagined that her commitment to her baby sister would ultimately lead to her death. One day, when Anna and Julia were teenagers, their next-door neighbor, Olga, got angry over some missing clothes and accused Anna of stealing them. Anna was upset at being falsely accused and went with Julia to confront Olga. The disagreement turned into a fight that ended tragically when Olga's boyfriend stepped into the scuffle with a gun and shot Julia point blank in the chest.
My sister was standing between us, and he took out his pistol. And when she let go of me, he shot her in the chest. She started to say, "He shot me." And then he shot her again in the head. My family blamed me, and I couldn't tell them about what really had happened.
Anna was afraid to report her sister's murder to the police. She didn't trust them to help her since the police in her neighborhood and everywhere in Honduras are improperly trained, have few resources, and too often are corrupt.
They said they were going to kill me. They said if I dared to testify, they would be waiting for me outside the courtroom.
When Anna had given up on getting justice for her sister's death, she heard from a friend who had gone through a similar experience about a project called Peace and Justice. Her friend explained that the project helped victims by working with the local authorities to prosecute homicides. The Peace and Justice investigator gathered evidence that strengthened the case, and the project psychologist worked with Anna to overcome the trauma of losing her sister and helped her to feel confident enough to testify in court.
I never let them intimidate me because I knew that testifying was the only thing I could actually do. My family didn't help me. I did it on my own with the help of the authorities and AJS.
Thanks to Anna's and other witnesses' courage, along with the involvement of the Peace and Justice team and government authorities who stood up for justice, Julia's killer was tried, convicted, and is now safely behind bars. While the murder rate in Honduras has gone up alarmingly over the last 5 years, in Anna's neighborhood, where the Peace and Justice Project operates, the homicide rate has gone down 70%. By developing relationships with victims and a network of community members willing to report crimes, the Peace and Justice Program has managed to reestablish the trust that has been lost between the community, the authorities, and has helped hundreds of people like Anna to stand up for justice and a better life.
During the whole process, I had support, counseling, and everything I needed.
AJS, Association for a More Just Society.